everybody, I'm Cheryl from Tiny Modernist, and I would like to show you all of the Nashville releases for 2025, and also I'm going to go back actually and show you everything that's released so far from since January of 2025. So we'll work our way backwards through the Nashville exclusives, the March releases, and then we'll go back just into February and January, and I'll show you everything that's come out so far. So it just occurred to me as I was putting all the models together that I have a lot of animals this year for the Nashville exclusive. So we'll start with those, and I'll show you this one first. This is the cute Crocodile, and he is part of that series that I'm doing with little animals. So they're all about the same size. They all have the same black border on them. And you can find the other 5 of them if you want on the website, but this is the latest one. So C for Crocodile. They're all sea animals. Last year was a chicken, and I've got a cat, a cow, a chameleon, a crab, and a crow. So I don't know how many more sea animals we can do. So there's him. So he's going to be a Nashville exclusive until May, and then it will come out in other shops and on my website. So if you'd like it sooner, be sure to ask one of the shops attending, and that goes with all the exclusives to Nashville. So you can grab it from your favorite shop, online or needle or brick and mortar. And yeah, so the next one we'll do, this one is My Cat Helper, which you guys have loved. This one I did actually for Yarn Tree, so it's an exclusive for Yarn Tree. So you'll have to, if you're a shop, you have to get it through them for now, or you can ask a shop to pick it up at Nashville for you. And this one's pretty fun. This is actually inspired by my actual cats because we play a game called the Thread Game where they like to get into my threads when I'm trying to stitch. So, so I wanted it to be a little fun sort of sampler. It's got the like sort of fun little primitive style border and the cat all tangled up in the thread. So that one is, I'll just give you some quick details. So I've stitched this one on 32 count Lugana in vintage Stormy Night, so it says Weigart fabric. It's an 8x10 frame, and over 2 on 32 count. This is similar to 16 count Ada, which puts it around 5.5 by 7.5 inches. So it'd be slightly larger if you do it on 14 count or the equivalent. Yeah, so that one's pretty fun. And then the next one I'll show you are my flamingos, which I have right now in a real plant. I've been growing this monstera, so I'm quite pleased with the plant and the flamingos. This guy's shifted around. This is the monstera leaf and the 2 flamingos. So I had this idea that I wanted to make little mini lawn flamingos, like, you know, those pink plastic ones, and I find them so fun and retro. And they usually have one that's kind of more tall standing and one kind of like longer. So these are, they're tiny, but I thought it'd be fun to have little plant like lawn flamingo. So what I've done is, it comes with finishing instructions, I should say, the pattern does. I'll pull one of them out here. So I've given them little legs. They're little metal legs. So it's just a pillow. It's a stitched pillow. So I stitched everything up, and then I used a sewing machine to stitch it on the back, left a little hole down here to stitch up by hand, and then I added these 2 little metal rods. I bought them on Amazon. I looked up like metal rods. They're actually for machining, but this one is 1 millimeter, I think, or 1.5 millimeters, and they were a little longer. I cut them down with some pliers, so you can cut them to size. And you don't have to do this exact thing. You could put it on a dowel or something, whatever you wanted, but I wanted the look to be like these little lawn flamingos. So he's there, and then I also wanted to include just some little small. So there's the monstera leaf. And I did a little hibiscus flower as well. So you get all 4 motifs, like the 2 flamingos, the leaf, and the flower in the chart, as well as some, you know, basic instructions. It's fairly straightforward, but I like to give you a little bit of instructions, like I've used interfacing and stuff like that. So it tells you those details. And I've just gotten some dirt on my table. 1 second. Okay. So that was the 3. I've got one more Nashville release, and it's a sampler, which I'm quite pleased with. I really like this one. It has a saying, so you start on this side. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. today I'm wise, so I am changing myself. This is a Rumi quote. I don't know if you're familiar with the poet. He's from several centuries ago, but I find his stuff kind of like, you know, wisdom. And the way I interpret this is that when you're young, you know, you want to go out there and change the world, and then you realize as you get older that, you know, if we all change ourselves, that's really, I think, the way that the world will change, right? It has to start with you. So anyways, it kind of resonated with me, and yeah, so this uses, actually I should specify the floss, because this is a fun variegated floss. I'll get you in there so you can see. So it's a combination of dinky dyes, silks, and I threw in some DMCs as well. So the white, the dark brown, which I think is 3371, yeah. And there's a green 581. So those three are DMCs, and everything else are dinky dyes. One is Jindalee, Bushfire, Dragon Fruit, Jungle Green, and Choco Cherry. So those are the colors. And actually, I'll give you a little backstory. So Steph from Lindy Stitches very graciously gave me some samples of dinky dyes that she carries, and they were this palette. So she chose them, I think, just to give me a sense of what kind of colors were available. And I've had them for like a year, and I thought I really need to do something with these. They're such a pretty palette, and like I said, I sort of added some extra colors and decided to do this. So a little backstory there. Yeah, so you can, again, this will be a Nashville exclusive until May, and then it will be available on my website as a PDF and in other shops. So yeah, be sure to pick yours up sooner. You might hear my cat. Okay, so that's it for the exclusive. So now we'll go to the just regular March releases that have come out this month, and you guys have been loving those as well. So I'll start with Paris Pincushion. So I'll show you, it has some dimension to it. This one is stitched over 40 count. So it's actually the first time I've stitched on anything larger than like 18 count. So I did it on 40 count, but over 2. So it's quite tiny and fun to work on with just one strand. And then it's finished in an embroidery hoop. And I do give you finishing instructions how to cut circles of circles of batting, sort of smaller and smaller. And then you make a little dome shape with this. Gather at the back, there's some mat board in there as well. And then I hot glued these pom-poms on the edge, the trim. So it does include the finishing instructions as well, how to create this look for your little pincushion. It's 56 stitches by 56 stitches. So let's see what that would be. Just a little chart. On 14 count, it'd be about 4 by 4, but because I did it on the really small fabric, the 20 count, 40 over 2, it's just shy of 3 inches by 3 inches. So this is a, I think a 5-inch, this is a 5-inch hoop. Yeah, so that one. And then the Snail Rider, she's here. So this one's a really striking one. This is on the dark fabric. I used Espresso by Witchelt. It's like, actually looks kind of gray here, but it's kind of a chocolate, it's like a gray chocolate color. It definitely has a brown tone to it. It's 7 by 7 inches, all DMC floss. And yeah, it's 28 count linen and Espresso. That's a Witchelt fabric. So yeah, I don't know why it's coming out gray on the video, but it is kind of a brown color, but it's quite dark. You could do it on black as well. This is just what I had, and I quite like how it turned out. This was a Patreon design last year that's come out now to shops, and it'll be on my website on March 1st. Yeah, so she's fun. Next, and you guys, this has so far been the most popular design this year so far, is Twilight Moon. And so I'll give you a bit of backstory of this one. It's part of the Cross Stitch the Rainbow collaboration, I guess. There's 20 plus designers who signed up to join this sort of collaborative design process, where we were very graciously given a palette to work from. So Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, was sort of heading this up with a few other people. Shaded Stitchery, and I believe Tracy from Ink Circles was involved as well. So possibly other people, I don't want to forget anybody who organized it, but they chose the colors. And so all of us used these Threadworks 4 colors. And so the restrictions were that it had to be 60 by 60, like 60 stitches high and 60 stitches wide, or smaller, just couldn't be bigger than that. Had to use the 4 colors, the 4 palette, Night Garden palette colors, had to be with the theme Night Garden palette, and you couldn't use any more than that. You could choose your own fabric. So if you've seen any other designs, I'm actually quite impressed with all the range of colors people chose. It's interesting how the colors show up differently on different fabrics. So that's kind of the backstory, and each of the designers is selling the patterns themselves, but because we're all using the same theme and floss colors, if you buy a floss pack from Threadworks or directly or through your needle shop, you can stitch like a number of them. They sell them in 5 and 20 yard skeins. So if you're really ambitious, you can get a 20 yard skein like of the 4 colors and stitch a number of them. So mine is doable with 1 skein each. There was a lot of the, which color was that? The taupey brown. It's Threadworks, I believe 1115. I don't think they have names for things, but it's kind of a coffee, like latte color. It's quite variegated. So I stitched this myself, and it did use like almost 1 skein of a 5 yard skeins. Yeah, so you guys have been loving this. It's coming out. Lots of shops from Nashville have pre-ordered it, so you'll be able to get it at all kinds of needle shops. I'll have it on my website, and if you want to check out more of the designs, you can go to XStitch the Rainbow, like XStitch the Rainbow on Instagram, or there's a Facebook page where you can check out different designers and what they've made. So it's kind of exciting. I like being part of that. Yeah, so the last March release is a Spring Tradition sampler. So this is a bit bigger. I'll hold it back here. So this is actually the 4th and final design in the seasonal series, which I did kind of out of order. The autumn one was first. It appeared in a Cross Stitcher magazine several years ago. And then I got so many requests for doing the four seasons that I did the winter one. I missed spring last year, went straight to summer. And so now we're filling it in with spring. So you should be able to get all 4 seasons done. The nice thing about it, and I like this for the seasonal samplers, is that they're all the same size. So the stitch count is the same. They all have this white border, and they all feature a saying in the middle. The autumn one was given to me from the magazine, but the other 3 seasons, like this one I wrote, and the other ones I wrote them. So they're just little nice little quotes about the seasons. Yeah, so you should be able to get all 4 now. This one's coming out March 1st on my website. It'll be in online and local needle shops everywhere too. So I'm quite pleased with. There's the little cows. Funny story, my model stitcher, Kim, she often stitches the top upside down. Like she'll stitch like this. And she texted me to say, she said, I thought I was stitching flowers, and when I flipped it over, she said it was cows. So yeah, little funny story. But yeah, so that is the 4th seasonal bit. So you can get all 4 now, which is nice. Get all the seasons done. Okay, so that is everything for March and Nashville. So that's everything that's coming out that's brand new. I'll also just quickly go back and show you some of the stuff that's come out in February and January, because I have a few pieces. Yeah, that'll be that. So I'm going to work back, and I'm having a hard time remembering which was which. So I think we'll go back with the mouse. I think she was a February design, just came out a couple weeks ago. I think this might make 11 mice now. So she's part of a mice series that didn't start off as a series. None of my things usually start off as series. The Halloween one was first, and then I did a Christmas one, and I thought, oh, I could do other holidays, and now we've got a mouse basically almost for every holiday. So I'm going to try to aim to have 12, and that way if anyone wants to do like a monthly, I know people actually who are doing monthly things, they can feature the mouse in each month. So this is Mouse and her Canada Goose in the winter. This is actually, it's supposed to be like a little muff, you put your hands in, but it could be a snowball as well. So maybe she's chasing the goose with a snowball, or maybe she's just keeping her hands warm. You can decide. So this one, I'll give you some details. She was stitched on Stone Dyed Effect by Fabric Flair. So it's a printed fabric, not dyed. Yeah, and it was a 28 count. And I should say these use Weeks dye work. So all of the mice that I've done, feature a lot of the same colors. So the mouse is done in one of two grays. This really dark color I think is coal. Yeah, it's coal. I use that one as the dark gray. So if you want to stitch the whole series, a lot of the colors overlap. Not all of them, but generally it uses, for the most part, it either uses whitewash for the white or just DMC. The mouse is always either in graphite or I can't recall what the other one is. And it depends on the fabric. Sometimes if the fabric is too light, I'll do like I change the mouse color based on the fabric, basically, so you can see her. Yeah, and the blues are Capri and Ocean, so they're quite pretty. Very subtle variegation in these ones, which I like. So yeah, so you can pick that up. I also do include DMC and anchor conversions in all of my patterns, regardless of what fancy flosses we use, in case you want to do just DMC or just even just have a guide of what the colors are. So I always include all options, just in case. Okay, so then we'll go back to this one here, Winter Folksy Rabbit. So this one actually turned out quite nice. This was a Patreon design from like February of last year, and so now it's been released. In the Patreon one, I think I had the rabbit one shade different, and so if you have it from my Patreon, this one, do I have the rabbit? I do not, but I think it was 644 originally, or 642 originally, and then the fabric I chose was just a little dark, so the bunny wasn't showing up, and I went one shade lighter. I believe it's 644 now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll see it on the pattern, and it actually has both colors. So I have no problems with changing, or you changing the colors of something if you can't see it, you know, depending on the fabric you choose. So the bunny is the same, but it's just one shade different, and that mentions it on the pattern. Yeah, that's on 28 count. It is a witch elk linen, and I can't recall what it is, but you can see the details on my website. So that one came out February. And then another February release was an addition to the tree series. So this one is the Snow White tree. I'll give you a quick little close up here. So it's got all the characters from the fairy tale. And it has the same dimensions as the other series of trees. So we've got a number of them. The Nutcracker tree, an Edgar Allan Poe tree, Alice in Wonderland tree that came out last year. I'm forgetting some. I think there's 5. Oh, and a Wizard of Oz. Can't forget that one. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of trees. So you can find all of them on my website or at your local or online needle shop. And again, they're nice because they all, you know, they're all the same size. So I like being able to switch things out in the frame. You can switch things out seasonally, or really you could just have them all, like, it'd be cool actually to have them all in the same frame, but like all across the wall. That would be neat too, actually. If you guys do that, let me know. So yeah, so that's that one. And then I think I just have 2 more left to show you. So one is a winter wreath. This one here, Welcome Winter, and it's just a tiny little cute. Oh, my poor baby cat. He wants to come up. That's why he's crying. He's fine. He just always sounds like he's in distress. Okay, so this one came out in January, and it's done on 28 Jobelin in lamb's wool. So it's a witch elk fabric as well, and I quite like stitching on Jobelin actually. Yeah, so I've got some cute little mushrooms. I got some signature stuff that I usually include, right? You got the, you know, cute little mountains in the house, and I really like these little backstitch trees. And I finished it. It's a flat finish. This would actually normally, so I'll show you the back. So this is, I would stick it on the back like this. This is only partially finished really, because I'm going to be shipping it to Nashville. But if I would hang it around the house, I would mount this on something. I would either mount it onto like a larger frame or a piece of wood, like a wood block or something like that. So this is only kind of partially finished, but I just wanted to show you guys. It's actually 2 pieces. This one is finished and then glued to this one. And so what I mean by flat finish is they're cut mat board pieces with quilt batting, cut to size, and then you wrap your fabric around it. I use hot glue. You could also use double-sided tape. And then you add whatever sort of embellishments you want, stick them together, and then that thing can go onto a board or whatever. You don't actually have to do two. I like it because it adds a little bit of color to it, but you don't have to. You can just do the single one and stick it on something, add some pom-poms or whatever kind of thing. Very, very easy and versatile finishes. All right, so that brings us to the very last one, which is Oh So Crafty, and this one here. So this one was actually originally from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. They commissioned me to do one of the boxes for them. So this appeared first there about a year ago, and they are still selling kits for it actually. So if you're interested in purchasing the whole kit, they have those available, I believe, still through their website, or you can just get the PDF or chart, the paper chart from me. And this one's fun because it's very simple and it has no back stitching whatsoever. So it's a quick stitch. And this one I used 28 count linen in Artichoke by Witch Out. So it shows the, you know, it's interesting to choose colors because I always want the white to show up and you also want the really dark tones to show up too. So I find choosing the perfect fabric is always, you know, it's always fun, but also a challenge. And I think that is everything. So I hope that you saw some stuff that you liked. Here, I'm going to show you my kitten. We just got Rango. He's our second kitty. We got him in November, so he's kind of a little Christmas present. And the two cats get along really well as my giant dog. But yeah, he's the one crying to come up on the table. So yeah, I hope you saw some stuff that you liked, and you can visit the website for more details if you saw something, or you can ask something in the comments and I'll be monitoring them. So happy spring, and I will see you all later. Bye.